Okay, the lab that we're doing on Planaria, which we may have already started, depending on when you're watching this, is we're not going to have a quiz on this in 2026. I might use this video in another year where we do. But you do have to have this completed in your book, and you never know, there might be a bonus question about Planaria on the next quiz that we do have. All right, so when we're looking at our organisms here on our cladogram, we already looked at sponges, which are in the phylum Porifera. We looked at hydra, which are in the phylum Cnidaria. And now, for the first time, we're going to be seeing something with bilateral symmetry, and meaning left and right sides are going to be relatively symmetrical and like ourselves. And the other thing we're going to see is that this is the first time we see 3 tissue layers. And then, so that means all of these things carry throughout the whole unless they're lost. So the phylum plate means flat, and helminth means worm. So platyhelminthes are flatworms. And one of the types of flatworms are something called Planaria, and they are free living, meaning they're not parasitic. They usually live in water environments like freshwater, like rivers and streams. In fact, if I have difficulty, maybe I forgot to order some, or I ran out of money in the budget, I have in the past, more in my younger days, spent an hour or so down by the river, and I'll just overturn rocks, and you can find them sticking there. And so, yeah, they usually live in water environments, but there are some land planarians as well. And all right, what else do we have here? I'm trying to, because I know we have a shortened period in 2026. So the main reason I like to study Planaria, besides if I can get something that's alive that we can look at, that's moving, and we can do experiments with, is their ability to regenerate lost body parts, remarkable ability to regenerate lost body parts. And all right, what else do we have here? I think I'm going to cover a lot of this text on the actual picture of the organism. So I will switch over to that and cover what I was going to say there. All right, so I like to go by system, so it doesn't really matter what system I pick first, but I'm going to pick the nervous system. And these little eye-looking things are called eye spots. Sometimes they're called ocellus or ocelli, but they do not detect images. They will detect light. And because flatworms are pretty tiny and flat, they are pretty vulnerable to predators. So it is good for them to try to find a place that's dark and protected, like underneath of a rock or something. So that allows them to find those environments where they can survive. And on the outside of the eye spots here, you're seeing something that is kind of equivalent to nerve, like brain tissue, just very small. So they call these cerebral for brain, and then a collection of nerves called ganglia. And I'm writing big just because that's what I have set, and you'll be able to see it on the screen, but you can make yours as neat and tidy as you want to on your diagram. All right, and then proceeding from the cerebral ganglia are 2 nerve cords, and so that'd be equivalent to like our spinal cord, but they have 2 nerve cords, and they're on the belly surface. And I stress that because I don't have a separate lab where we look at these anatomical terms like anterior, posterior, but they are important, and I like to use them in their context. So this is what we would call the anterior of the animal. So add that to your diagram. And the belly side of the organism is called the ventral side. So like on your body, this is our ventral side. And then our dorsal is on our back. So ventral, these are nerve cords. All right, so that's their very simple, but first time we're seeing a centralized nervous system. All right, so then let's talk about their digestive system. So they only have one opening to their digestive system, which makes them having what's called an incomplete digestive system. So they have a one opening to this, that's called the pharynx, and then that is going to bring food in. It comes out of their belly side, their ventral side, and then it's going to bring pharynx into something called a this is, I think, one word, but vascular cavity. Gastrovascular cavity. And that's going to be where their food digests. And then once they've digested their food, the waste is going to come out the same opening. So it's an organ that has like two functions: to bring food in and also to send waste out, as far as like solid waste that's undigested. All right. And then we have a few other systems that I like this diagram. Oops. I'm going to find it again, because it shows us the systems separately, but keep in mind that they're all flat on on the organism. So we covered the digestive tract already. Now let's talk about their way in which that they can get rid of like a liquid waste or nitrogenous waste, the way that they urinate. So they have these cells along their edges of both sides, and these are called flame cells. So we just need to kind of just make sure you label those as flame cells. But the prefix, we might see this again, neph, N-E-P-H. If somebody is a kidney doctor, they are a nephrologist. All right, and then we covered the nervous system already with the ventral nerve cord, cerebral ganglia. And then what we have here is the reproductive system, and we need to make sure we remember this word here is that these flatworms are monoecious, meaning the mono means the one on one organism. So that means that they have both. I know that's kind of confusing, but they don't have separate sexes. They have both ovaries and testes, small testes, on one / same animal. All right. And this, for sake of ease of the diagramming, is showing you that the ovaries are going to line one. Sorry, the horrible sound. One side, and then the testes are going to line another, but that's not how it is. There'll be ovaries and testes on both sides. So this is just trying to show it. We may watch a video that looks at how they like physically reproduce, but this is not like universal. Like how that works is not universal among all planarians, but they do both have ovaries and testes. So they can reproduce both sexually and asexually. The way in which, let me see if there's something else on this. All right. So some of these I might have you look up, and some of them I might just go through with you. So yeah, first of all, 1 and 2, I want you to answer on your own. I've already answered at least one of those. And I've also answered question number 3 at the beginning of this, but you can certainly look it up if you would like to. And we've talked about the environment, so either look it up or go back. I talked about the digestive system, how they are going to take in and digest food. So, go back and either go back or remember what I said or research. I did all these already, so I'm going to have you guys either go back or or look it up. And so I do want to talk a little bit about their reproduction. So one way in which they reproduce is sexually. And they both, and again, it's different for different species of planaria, so I'm just going to be very general here. But remember, they're monoecious. So both have both sperm and egg on the same. Obviously, I'm writing big so you can see it. But they also do fragmentation in the wild. A lot of times what they do is, let me find a picture of a planaria, is they'll like secrete like a sticky substance from their posterior. So that's, I labeled the anterior on the other worm, but this anterior and that's posterior. So get a sticky substance on their posterior. And then, especially when they're older, this happens more easily. The planaria is, as the anterior is moving ahead and it's got a sticky substance on its posterior, then the head keeps moving. It's just, it fragments. So that's one way in which they can reproduce. I think I say like 2 ways. So just list at least those ways. This you should have done already in class, or you're going to be doing in class, depending on when you're seeing this. And that's, I think, pretty much it for what we're doing for that. Yep. So I hope that was helpful.